Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event Fightcast. I'm your host Vega, alongside my host Coach Mike. And we know it's been a while, but and this isn't the final look. We had to jump in because some things as if it's almost as if like we predicted some of these, or at least I predicted some of these. John Jones has retired. Tom Aspinall has retired John Jones without even having to see him in a cage, brother.
Stop it.
Tom Aspinall retired John Jones without even having to see him in a cage. There's no way around that, bro. He fought Stipe unnecessarily.
It was supposed to be what it was. Light heavyweight GOAT versus the heavyweight GOAT.
And that is not what it was. It was nobody wanted that fight.
It was at least
nobody wanted that
at
fight.
least 2 years too late.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
That shit was like 8 years too late. But even with that, it's like, bro, even when that fight was announced, there was a better fight to make. And then there was an injury, and the better fight was still available, and you made us wait. And then you made us wait a whole extra, what are we now? In June, 6 months, almost 7, just wasting time just to disappear from John Jones. Now, listen,
in a division that nobody's knocking on the door, so it really didn't really do much.
what do you know when he's knocking on the door?
He's knocking on the door.
Everybody has spoken up about this. See, this is that John Jones-itis.
Who's
Alexander Volkov has spoke up about it.
Who
Alex
is knocking on the door to fight for other than Tom?
to fight Tom. To fight Tom.
To fight for the belt other than Tom?
Alexander Volkov spoke up about it. He had a whole interview where he was addressing the fact that he's like, yo, you guys are wasting my prime years. Right now, I feel like I was on a resurgence. Look at the fights that I've had recently, and now we're sitting around waiting. Right? J. Elton Almeida spoke up about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, you see, you can't say it's not enough after you just said that it didn't happen.
Undeniable.
What do you mean they didn't make themselves undeniable? They are up next. The only reason the fight hasn't happened is because we're stalled because of your guy. There's no way around that, bro. There is no way around that. Everybody in the division is ready to fight.
One thing I'll stand back. He said it. I told the UFC what I wanted to do.
He said that last month. Let's not pretend this is something that happened for. All right, so if you want to say 5 months of wasting the UFC's time.
Well, before that,
you know what I mean?
Before that, I was pretty sure that the only way he was going to fight was again in Madison Square Garden.
I knew he was not going to fight Tom. I said this
That's
from
fine.
jump.
That's fine. I didn't feel confident he was going to fight Tom, but I knew that if he would fight again, it'd be in Madison Square Garden where he said he wanted to retire.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing that never changed throughout all of it. As much as he changed that, Herrera's more interesting. Oh, I'll fight Tom after he beats somebody else. And he beats somebody else.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. All that is just talk until you look at the fact that he said, I'm going to retire at MSG. So
Except
he's going to fight again, it was going to be at MSG.
So do you still give him that? Do you still allow that? I don't
allow anything. The UFC would have allowed any of this to happen if it wasn't somebody that's like John Jones, somebody that's such a big name to the sport, a guy that was coming out on ESPN.
Well, I think that perspective changes when we know now.
People ever thought that they would ever be on UFC would ever be on.
I think that perspective changes when we know now that John Jones did sign the contract. So you can't even really put it on the UFC anymore.
Oh no, he signed the contract.
No, he didn't. No, he agreed. He signed. They said the contract was signed. That's what Dana said. Contract was signed. He retired after the contract is signed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
well, I don't want to speculate, but the you know what I've been saying that how much of the legal issues have something to do with it.
Yeah, that could be a big factor, especially with the latest one, that whole hit and run in Mexico or New Mexico. I don't remember the exact specifics.
I don't deny that Tom is a threat to John Jones, especially in today's John Jones with the amount of ring rust that man has. When we talk about, and since 35, he's fought two times.
Two times.
And so plenty of people are a threat to John Jones. Now, saying that he's scared of him, to me, that's something that'll kind of give him the itch more to actually want to do it. I don't think it
Bro,
was.
that's not gonna give him the itch. They've been saying he was scared
I
of
don't
it for
think it was
almost 2 years at this point. That didn't do anything
No,
for
that's
him.
not what that's not what I'm going. That's not what I'm going at. I'm going at the fact that like to make you want to work and like hit the gym and get that confidence back, which still takes a lot. Like I think everything he had was preparing for Stipe. Winning that fight took longer for him than he wanted, which ultimately was way longer than the fans wanted. And after that, I think Chael and DC talked about it the other day. They're like, yeah, I'm retiring today, but I've been done fighting for a while.
Right.
And like, I don't think John Jones.
I think John Jones
won't ever want to get caught doing that because of his legacy, because of the never being beaten.
Yeah, I think his legacy has been severely tarnished. I know the John Jones fans won't ever accept or admit it.
I hear that today, but
You know what I'm saying?
we'll see when we circle back in another 10
When we circle back in 10 years, I think it's gonna be worse to look at it, because then because when we circle back in 10 years, we're really gonna be looking at this from a perspective of like, despite no matter which direction it goes, right? Whether corporate version of UFC ends up being the better version of UFC, or if corporate version of UFC becomes trash. Either way, the moment that we can look at, unfortunately, is tied to John Jones not fighting Francis Ngannou. Because that was around the same time the TKO merger happened. That's the same time all corporate stuff happened. And at that point, Dana's voice as a leader of UFC has changed. Because before it was chasing Fedor, we want the absolute best UFC in the organization, the best fighter in the organization.
I also thought that was a little crook in there.
What you mean?
Fedor was over the hill. When they wanted to sign Fedor, he was over the hill. He knew his guys would beat him.
Yeah, but even at that point, he still wanted them in there to prove it. But I'm saying, but now
when you're a little more sure that your guy's gonna win, I think he negotiates differently, as opposed to I do think you can piece in that John maybe didn't really want much of Francis because he could have fought for it more, but I do think Dana was negotiating in bad faith, bro.
Which one?
With Francis. Francis made so little money while also being champion because he was still under that contract. And then, like, in negotiating him, it was risky. Whether John won or Francis won, it was risky. Because the money bump, what it's going to look like.
Yeah, in either side.
I kind of feel like Dana was negotiating in bad faith.
Yeah, but then we go back to one of your favorite things to say is John Jones. He has a lot of control over the shots that get called.
But you heard I said he could have fought for it more.
Right.
And that's one of the things that Francis even said. Like, I want to also help my opponents get paid more. You know what I mean?
And for the way that the things turned out now with Tom, couple those, like, it just does not look good for John, bro. But especially when you look at the cherry picking he did in the heavyweight division. You know what I mean? Like,
that can be said of his heavyweight run because
for sure.
For sure. I have no problem with that being a narrative.
But then for me, when you look at his entire career, there's only 2 fights that I look at genuinely, and I say those are unstained fights, and it was DC and Chael. No, not Chael. Nah, Chael was a middleweight. I'm not saying whether it was difficult or not. I'm saying that's not stained, right? Like DC, even though John Jones was on steroids for one of those fights, one of those steroids accusations, I don't fully count. You know what I'm saying? That's one of those where I'm like, same with the Ryan Garcia situation, bro. If you're telling me that difference, that tiny microscopic amount of steroids is why you lost the fight,
he didn't get hit with a power shot. He didn't get hit with a power shot. He got hit with a
So that's one of the fights where I say that's not, one of the DC fights is stained, one of them is not. Right? I'm trying to think of the other fight that's not stained.
The one that he supposedly pissed off for was when he knocked him out.
Yeah. But that's the one where
the one that's not stained?
Yeah, for me that's the one that's stained. The one that's not stained.
He knocked him out was like not a power shot. But
like I said, I'm giving him 1-1. Some people won't give him anything. I'm giving him 1-1. You feel me? I can't remember the other fight that I'm thinking of, but there's another fight against a different fighter where I'm like, yo, John Jones was not on steroids. The only real conversation you could potentially say is his opponent was a little bit older because he had like a 4 or 5 year age gap. But even that, I don't really believe in it so much. You know what I'm saying? But overall, I still wish the best for John Jones in retirement. I extremely wish the best for him in this case that he's dealing with, because this one sounds pretty serious. And I don't know all of the details behind it, but it sounds pretty intense. Moving on to more important news, because we don't even know what's going to happen with the heavyweight division. You know what I'm saying? They changed the rankings now, so shout out our boy Waldo.
The way I like to segue to Waldo, our guy Waldo, is that after all that, John Jones' career is cemented as one of the greatest of all time. Everybody's gonna have their opinions. We don't agree on all of it, but at least we agree on that.
I think he is undeniably the most undefeated fighter of all time. Greatest, there's a lot to debate there.
No, that's not true. He got defeated before. He defeated himself a couple times outside the cage. So
yeah, but he beat the cop car with the headbutt. Most undefeated fighter of all time, bro. So I said, BOW! Looked up, the cop's like, hey man, relax. I've never seen a cop take his hands off of perps to tell him to relax, bro. Like,
I'm doing it.
like, yo, that was nuts.
Wasn't me.
Pardon me, I'm still recovering from a little cold. But, going into Waldo, ranked number 6 now because of the magic shifting in the heavyweight division. It's going to be fun to see how this all shapes out now that things can start moving along. Let's see who Tom, is it fair to say picks? Who Tom picks to be his next opponent? Because I feel like they'll give him a little bit of choice.
He says he has an idea. He said he has an idea before Dana said that. He had said that.
Yeah, he said that something's already...
So he definitely probably is picky or suggesting.
Who do you think he picks?
Everybody goes to Cyril Gahn and like...
In my head, his options right now are Volkov, Almeida, Gahn, Blades rematch, Pavlovich rematch. And Pavlovich rematch only happens if Pavlovich beats Waldo.
Blades just wants the decision. He ain't gonna get it.
Right, Blades ain't getting it because he just did a decision. So that's not happening.
Good decision.
Volkov deserves it more than Gahn because he technically won that fight.
I guess.
Uh,
I give you Almeida because stylistically,
it's the biggest test. Let's say
it's the grappler versus the guy that's knocking people out right away.
Right, he's the closest of the people that I listed. He's the closest to a John Jones style competitor.
But unfortunately, Gahn probably gets it off start.
You think Gahn is more of a star?
Friends.
Yeah, I mean he was in that movie, which was not good, by the way.
Would it be?
I mean, hey, like UFC fighters can make good movies. The one with John Jones was not that bad.
UFC fighters are good at getting.
That's not
Waldo.
that's not a goddamn lie.
Waldo
did his thing.
I ain't gonna lie. He's been different ever since.
Yeah, he's been different ever since.
Boy, look at Chisel.
Boy getting chiseled, ripped.
Sheesh.
Ranked number 6. He coming for that top 5 spot, bro.
Can we make light heavyweight? What's going on? He looks chiseled.
Nuts.
But I'm excited for this weekend, though, man. I'm excited.
You gotta be excited.
We got a nice card, like after a bit of a dud last week.
It sucks because I don't know too many of the prelim fights that I'm excited for. One of them I will shout out, though, that I am crazy excited for. You guys know my bias for women fights, as crazy as it sounds. Tracy Cortez, Vivian Arroyo.
You don't even like Tracy.
No, I like Tracy. She good. She's valid. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's going to be a banger of a fight.
I don't think that's prelims, actually. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I think that's prelims. Who else? Cedric Dumas. You mentioned him earlier when we were watching some stuff. I used to be really high on him.
I'm scared of the scale right now with him. He looked huge, and he's had his issues with the scale. So
right.
If we can bet on who's going to miss weight, that'd be my favorite.
Hysterical.
I'm just being honest, bro. Just being honest.
But getting into those are the two that come to mind off of the prelims. Getting into the main card, though, bro. Do we go top to bottom or bottom up? Because this one's kind of a banger.
Let's go.
Renato Moicano, Beneil Dariush. People already know where you stand on this, but like, yo, bro, you know what's really crazy about this? Moicano looks so good, pause, that people are not registering that him and Beneil are the exact same age.
Oh yeah, they're really old.
They're both almost 40,
They're
bro.
really old. They're really old. And I'll be
But
honest.
Ronaldo looks like a playboy.
I'll be honest. If Moicano loses, he might be looking at retirement.
I think this is a retirement fight either direction.
Oh, loser retires.
Loser retires, I think. Yeah, I think
Only
Benil's
because Benil's been hit with so much injuries that he's gonna definitely get another go if he loses.
Nah, I think this will be the third. This will be the third time he gets stopped on the run. Like the first,
just for the story, losing to somebody who just challenged for a belt is not as bad as the guy who just challenged for a belt and is like caught up downwards.
True.
Like he's not gonna get to the belt.
Yeah, but also we're not talking about somebody who got to the belt through. I don't want to say earning it because that sounds wrong, but like through the rigid like step by step, he got it because of a just great opportunity landing in his lap. So I don't know if it measures the same way. You know what I'm saying? Where like if I lose to somebody who is like ranked number 2 and you know what I'm saying, that's a little bit different. But like if I'm losing to somebody who is already in the bottom rankings anyway, they just got a shot because timing worked out. Like that doesn't change where they were ranked.
Yeah, I just want to be realistic about as a fan of him. He would have to have 2 or 3 great performances to even start looking at him like, you know what? He played ball for us. He was ready, short notice. He took the fight, never complained about it.
Who that? Ronaldo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
no, Ronaldo losing, he retires. I'm 100%
because
agree.
he needs to do some craziness.
Yeah. He already had a shot at the belt. It didn't go well. There's gonna be a new champion, so there's still a new
character
opportunity.
that he has online is hilarious. He changed his old tweet of Patty Easy Money.
Yeah.
No, not easy money.
Not
no
easy
more.
money. Yeah, like he's doing great.
Like
you know?
he doesn't need to keep fighting if he doesn't still love it, and he had a situation where it's probably that's the thought process.
Yeah.
Do I still love this enough that am I still gonna fight? Do I know I'm gonna be challenging for the belt anytime soon?
But that's kind of where I sit with the Benil side of it, where it's like, yes, Ronaldo just challenged for the belt, but he was still ranked 7 when it happened, and it just kind of fell in his lap. So now if I lose to him, and this is like the 3rd time that I've gone on a 2-fight win streak and then end up losing to somebody who is either challenging for the belt next or already challenged, right? And I'm like, and this guy wasn't even really supposed to be challenging. Do I actually have a shot at the belt? And that's why I'm like, I think it's a retirement on either side, no matter who.
I see what you're saying,
Yeah.
but
But Benil is the least likely one of the 2 to retire.
But he also said his last loss he felt like crap. He wasn't himself.
Yeah.
So in that,
Which I think also feeds to it, because now like if your last loss was that and you felt like you weren't there, now you show up here and you felt like you're on, and you still lose. That says a lot in that conversation to itself. You know, like that in the mirror conversation is deep after that. Then we got what I think is gonna be a firefight, bro. Like I really think these guys are gonna be swinging.
we're talking about.
Pantoja, Kai Kara France.
I don't think that serves well for Pantoja, man. Pantoja got wrestle and they're tired if he doesn't finish it. Because Pantoja's a great champion. He doesn't really finish people.
He doesn't. I don't think it's gonna be a finish. I
And
think
a
it's
guy-
gonna go all 5.
And a guy like Kai got power in his hands, and if he touches you, it can change the whole ball game.
But I think, and I'm a massive Cara France fan. Like even with what I'm saying right now, I still put the bet on Cara. I think that with the championship money in position, Pantoja has been able to train and become better striking, and now he's set out like it's kind of a Marabo Madden situation. Like I already beat this guy before, so if you're putting him in front of me again, I have to really prove it when I beat him this time. You know what I'm saying? And I think coming out with that energy is gonna be a fight. I still don't think he's gonna put him out, but I think it's gonna be a fire fight, bro.
Advantage to Kai when it comes to mentality of it, because he did that to me in a 2-round fight. I got him 5. Just mentality.
Yeah.
Like he's
It's
in
a
there.
different
He's
thing.
in there with championship guys training every day.
Yep.
But so like.
Listen, I'm hoping that this is the one, bro. I'm hoping this is where my boy Kai Kara France gets the belt.
I tend to bet against Pantoja and be wrong, but I'm not saying to bet against him. But as a Kai fan, you have to put couple bucks on a knockout.
Especially as big of a underdog as he is right now. I think he was at like plus 180 last time.
Put a couple bucks on him a knockout. Maybe
nah, just
maybe,
a win.
Maybe even get some win. I'm just talking about to get plus money.
Nah, he's plus money right now. He's the underdog.
100%.
Yeah.
But I'm not talking about plus 100. I'm talking about plus 800.
Yeah.
$5. Come on, man.
Risky stuff.
Risky $5.
Then the big fight that everybody's talking about, everybody knows, and it's honestly a scary one for me because I'm a big Charles fan. I think we're all Charlie Olive fans, and it's not just that we're Charlie Olive fans, because I'm also an Ilya fan. But like I'm an Ilya fan when he's not going around destroying all of the greats, like just going through them. Like they didn't exist, bro. Like
everybody says
that shit is crazy, bro. So, yeah, I put all of my life savings on Charles because he's a super underdog, and I think he's like plus like 300 or something. And I'm just hoping that something great happens. But
it's funny.
But it's very likely that Ilya is gonna win.
Everybody's saying the same thing. He's beating all our favorites, and like I feel like it's not gonna stop because I know he wants Justin Gage. I know he wants Justin Gage next, and it's like I honestly don't think they pose a threat to his game.
This is the way
he fights.
This is the way I see it, right?
Discipline, bro.
Win or lose, the level of competitiveness for this fight tells us how competitive Ilya fits into.
100%, but this is also going to be the first time he jumps in there at championship level.
At lightweight, in his weight class. He's fought at lightweight.
Like a lightweight, but he's never fought anybody in a
5-round fight.
At that
Already.
Champion.
Right.
So he might have some jitters, come out a little slower. He might even be a little rusty because at the weight class, a little like moving or whatever. But if he gets that ultimate knockout like he usually does, like where does his confidence go to?
Exactly. And it'll be interesting. And in the whole conversation of before we wrap it up, in the whole conversation of if he does win, right? Is it more important for him to defend the belt a couple times, or for him to continue on this path to chase Islam?
I'll be honest. I want to see him fight Islam. I don't care what weight class it is. I want to see it. And there's just nobody at lightweight that I feel like is as good of a fight. As much as I love Justin, as much as Justin put on so many highlights for us.
Nah, the only one that's a real question if Ilya wins at lightweight that would have to happen, unfortunately, is Arman.
I knew it. I knew it.
Because those guys they've elected not to because of the countryman stuff, but at the championship level, that's not really an option.
But I feel like if he's chasing Islam, he might just let the title go and let him fight.
I don't think the UFC will let him because it would be too sloppy, especially with what just happened with John Jones. Not to bring it back there, but like with everything that just happened, the UFC wants to show they still have some sort of control.
It can be a problem, but at the end of the day, I think
what I think more likely happens, and we still get the fight.
Bigger than Tom versus John.
It is. So I think what's more likely to happen, and we still get the fight, Islam comes back down to get his belt back. Right? I don't think Ilya goes up.
And that's what I mean. That's what I mean. As long as I don't care what weight class it is.
Yeah.
But it feels a lot worse than anything people are projecting on John Jones if he doesn't come back down.
Nah, that's craziness. How?
Because this isn't Mayweather versus Pacquiao that we're seeing they way too old. The age isn't the same.
But again,
these guys are closer.
But the massive difference that you have to take into account is what does Islam get for it? Again, we are not like Islam is in this case now the situation has been built in a way where Islam gets something. He gets his belt back. You know what I'm saying? But beyond that, there's really no value. Like you're just we're talking about somebody who, no matter how you look at it, he is smaller than Islam. Islam's already done this. So if he beats Ilya, then the conversation simply becomes, well, like he was the smaller guy, You know what I'm saying? No matter how you slice it, no matter what weight class.
But if he wins the welterweight title, comes back to and wins the welterweight.
Now there's a little bit of value to it.
There's value to it because.
But I think there's only value. I think there's only value if Ilya defends. If Ilya doesn't defend, then again we're just in the same position of, bro, you came down here and you beat a smaller guy.
I think I like Islam to be like, nah, he ain't defending my title. He's just holding my title till I come back. Gangster, like just cause how I
treat him like an interim.
The same way I said is gangster that Ilya's saying that he'll go after him at welterweight too, because it's like he really wants that fight, bro. He's chasing it, and to a certain extent, Dana's gonna be like, you haven't earned that, but to a certain extent, he will respect the fact that he's chasing. It's great. That's right in front of him at the time that they're both at the peak of the rings.
Yeah.
Especially with everything Dana is preaching with boxing. Of them fighting each other. Terrence Crawford and Canelo, like, they're not in the same weight class. If Canelo wins, are they going to say, oh, Crawford was too small anyways?
Yeah, they've already started saying that. A lot of people have on the internet. They already started saying this is a dumb fight. He's too small.
I think he's too small.
They also started saying Crawford doesn't really have a resume.
He fought in a promotion that didn't have the names that these guys have, but some of those guys that killed it, like the dude he mentioned, 28-0, like 20-something knockouts before he ran into Crawford. Did well after Crawford beat him.
Back to it's just one anomaly there, Crawford.
It's not. It's the promotions that have the fighters that they have.
Or the promotion itself can't build the names. Because sometimes fighters are
Errol
good.
Spence not elite all of a sudden because he made him look like crap one night?
Right.
Is he not elite?
And that's one of the things with the value of the promotions that really brings it to the table to help.
Guys that he fought at heavier weight classes, I wouldn't consider them elite. Crawford, that I'll go with that. They were just bigger guys. But
even that's impressive.
Exactly.
Right.
At the same
but
time,
you see what I'm saying? It's impressive.
Because he got in and out of those fights untouched.
But it's impressive down, up. Right? Like the lower weight class man is impressive fighting the bigger weight class man. That's why it sounds so gangster that Ilya is chasing Islam. But if we were saying Islam is chasing Ilya, how crazy would that sound? He's the smaller guy. What do you mean you're chasing him, bro? Chase people your own. And that's what I'm saying. As far as just we have a natural bias to support the David-Goliath fight. You know what I'm saying? When we're rooting for David.
At the same time, it's hilarious because we've always called Islam a weight bully. He's always looked bigger than everyone else. Always.
In lightweight, right. So imagine Ilya coming up to lightweight and it's like, yo, bro, this dude already looks bigger. You're a smaller guy. Like, so again, it's just... So, yeah, I feel you when you say it sounds gangster that Ilya's chasing him. I'm like, it doesn't, because it's like the other way around is not as cool. Like, if you're saying that about somebody in your weight class, like, what happened? Like, give me Ilya chasing Patty right now. Because Ilya had a lot to say where they were in different weight classes. Now, all of a sudden, when asked about Patty, I don't know, I'm asking. See, that bothers me. Because why are you chasing one specific fight where your ramifications for losing aren't as bad?
But chasing can be a stress because even going back to John Jones, he never said he was chasing Israel Adesanya. What he said is, this kid is going to become undeniable and possibly be a threat to me because he's one weight class down and he's also fought at lightweight before. If you follow Izzy, you're a fan to any extent, you know that. In kickboxing, he's gone up and fought at different weight classes.
Yes, and he fought at the higher weight class in UFC.
So John seeing that is the obvious that he knows this guy wants to one day challenge for heavyweight. Why would I not let him know I see him now, rather than wait and let him get better? And remember, Izzy was like, "Oh no, 2020 something." I think the date passed already.
Yeah.
But he said some date, and John was like, "No, why not now?" Because it's the same thing.
But you see,
same reason.
But see how
Canelo
that doesn't sound as good as Ilya's chasing Islam.
No,
I mean it sounds like a bully.
Because you could spin the narrative that he's being a bully. But
exactly.
But
You're gonna spend on that. That's
but
just
it's
how
still,
it sounds,
but it's
bro.
still something that can be.
Even from the perspective of I should get him now before he gets good enough to get me. Like, bro,
well,
that
if
all
Ilya-
sounds like
if
some
Ilya
bully stuff.
never fought at 155, then yeah, it'd be terrible for him to be like, oh, I'm just fighting a smaller guy. This is a guy who's made the weight class and fought.
No, you just made the same exact example with the John Jones situation. There's literally no difference because Izzy had fought at a higher weight class.
Not in
Not in UFC, but he fought kickboxing.
Yes.
But still, like, you fought at the higher weight class.
And that's what I'm saying.
We know you can make the switch.
That's what I'm saying. That the way he was seeing him as a dominant champion at the moment, it was only a matter of time before he went for double champion status.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound as good from the upper weight class downward. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem.
It doesn't sound as good when Mayweather went after Canelo, knowing that he was still young and this was the time to get him.
Right. But it worked better because they were in the same weight class.
It's part of fighting, man.
It works better when they're in the same weight class.
People
Because
cherry
again,
pick.
Ilya isn't calling out Patty anymore.
No.
Patty's been on a great
he
run.
He is interested in the fight, though.
Patty's been on a great run.
He said he's interested in the fight.
Nah, that's all he said. He wasn't interested. He said he only wants to.
Now we're not the belt. Now we're not the belt.
Yeah. So
No, he said
why not?
he is
But
interested
this is
in
what I'm
fighting
saying. This is what I'm saying.
after he gets the belt.
If you want to talk about, if we want to say he's being a gangster, yo, come up to this weight class and say whether I get to fight for the belt or not. I already had smoke with Patty. Let's start there, cause I'm that good.
No, that,
Oh, word, heard
that
you,
could
bro.
also been
Then
looking
you
at
fight for the
shit.
belt, and then I got no problem you
at
doing whatever.
At a certain
You know
time,
what I mean?
at a certain time, you would have told me he did that. I would have now he was cherry picking. Cause I
Back then, but no, I'm talking about right now.
No.
We're not talking about back. We're talking about in the moment,
That's what
in
I'm
real
saying.
time.
So he didn't have to give him the props and saying that we will clash. Yeah, we will clash. I'm going for the title right now. We will clash.
Yeah.
And he has basically done that.
We
As
gonna-
opposed to at one point, it would have been cherry picking saying that.
But even
Well,
now,
who does? 'Cause
even
we
now,
don't know.
it would be like I said for me, understanding the benefit of going up against a higher weight class, losing, and being like, well, I was trying my best, right? Like the Volkanovski situation. Like I'm a Volk fan. That's still a poor excuse. Like, yeah, bro, you lost. Like it's not because you went up against. Like no. You challenged for a fight, and it doesn't matter what changed in that fight. Like that's the situation. You know.
Izzy made no excuse when he lost to Young Bull.
And so that's how I see it with the Ilya situation. But looking forward to this weekend. Do not call, do not text, do not email, do not bother. We are watching UFC
I might need a nap before.
317. You're not getting a nap in before because we're not going to talk about it because the show's over. But it's also going to be Night of Champions for WWE. And that's happening in Saudi Arabia, which means it starts at 1 o'clock Eastern time. It's an all-day affair, fights after fights after fights. So we'll see you guys here next week with the recaps and the official news set.
I don't know how I'm stressed about Saturday. How I'm stressed about Saturday is going to be so fun.
It is going to be lit. Oh, man. So you guys know the vibe. Thank you for being patient and waiting for us to come back. Make sure you tell a friend and tell a friend. We're back. It's the main event Fightcast. Follow me at What Up Vega. Follow Coach Mike at SF Big Mike. And like, comment, and subscribe.